Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jennifer, your Gen X crocheter, knitter, and designer. Probably more knitter than any of those, but I definitely do all of them. And this is the Mixtape Fiber Arts blog. For those of you who are new to the channel, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy it. For those who are coming back after we were done with Vlogtober, thank you so much for subscribing and sticking with us and giving me likes. It's so appreciated. And as you can see, I'm wearing my Go-Go Dynamo shawl. It finally got done. Look at it. Isn't it gorgeous? Are you guys still working on it? Did you even try and knit it? Do you love it if it's done? Did you do the little wave at the bottom? I'm really happy I did that. It added just enough extra length that it kind of goes right down to where my tush starts. So it fits perfect. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'm really curious if you guys are still working on yours or not. It was a lot of knitting, just a ton of knitting. So I'm really glad to have it done, and I've been wearing it almost nonstop. If you are coming back after Vlogtober with me, you'll know that I was really trying to get this done so I could get started on this blanket and get it finished. This is, and it's done, and it's so squishy. This is the Knit Connection blanket, and it is, I'm trying to get it finagled so you can see it. There we go. It goes this way. It's huge. This one's for a full-size bed, so. But that's the Knit Connection blanket. I might just put some pictures in. And it is finally done. Yay! I'm so excited to have that done so everybody can take a look at it and start knitting on it if they want to. It's going to be super relaxing knit, and it's very cozy. So I'm really excited to have it done, and now I can use mine, which is also fantastic. So I'll talk more about that later, but it's based off a shawl I designed called the Rainbow Knit Connection shawl. And a lot of people really like that one, so I decided to make it into this blanket. It probably should have been a blanket to begin with, to be honest, but it's done. So let me know what you think of it. And I hope everybody has a good time knitting it that decides to knit it up. I thought that I would cover some things about designing each vlog, because I think that a lot of other people are wanting to get into designing or have considered designing and just haven't done it. And there's no reason to be scared of it. You guys can do it. Absolutely, you can do it. You just have to have some organization. I think that is at least my biggest downfall, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. I have found that one of the hardest things about designing is keeping track of the yarn you've used and how much of it you've used along the way, because it's so easy to just keep knitting and keep knitting. You lose the ball band somewhere. You have, 10 grams left at the end, or, 2 grams left at an end, and you're scared to use that because you're scared you'll run out, but you don't keep it, so you can't weigh it. So it's just important to keep track of those things. If you begin designing, you need to come up with a system where you can keep track of how much yardage is going into your piece. I have found, finally, and this might not be the most organized way to do it, but it works for me. I have found that if I just keep everything in the same bag with the piece I'm knitting, including any unopened skeins of yarn that I bought for the purpose of designing this, whatever item it is, it all goes into the bag whether I'm using that or not, because it keeps it all in one place. And if I take out a ball band, I just throw it into the bottom of the bag. It stays there. I've not lost one then doing it this way yet. And then I can just go dig around and find it when I need it later, if I need it later. This does require a rather large bag depending on what you're designing, because I tend at least to overbuy the yarn that's needed, so I know that I won't run out of it. So, for example, with the blanket here, I bought 4 skeins each, of each color that I used in it, of this worsted weight Brava Knit Picks yarn. And so I had all the balls of this in one bag, including the blanket as I worked on it, and any leftovers as I went through the yarn. Now I ended up with leftovers. As you can see, I have a whole skein here I didn't even break into. But all of that stayed in one bag the entire time I was designing the blanket. That way, when I got to the end, I was able to backtrack math into the amount of the yarn that I used by weighing what was left over. And that method has worked for me in the past. You might come up with better ideas. Let me know how you keep track of all your yarn. I'm really curious. Maybe one of you have a way to do it that I haven't thought of. Do not be scared to design. I would love to see what you're making. Put it on my Instagram. It'll be at the end of the video. The link will be at the end of the video. It's Mixtape Fiber Arts is my Instagram. So find me and show me what you're working on. If you would like to do that, I would love to see it. So let's talk about what I've bought, because I did buy some things, a couple things. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is making a crochet version of this blanket that I just finished. I have a crochet wrap. That's a companion wrap to the Rainbow Knit Connection wrap called the Rainbow Crochet Connection wrap. And so I was like, if I made the knit version, I need to make the crochet version. So that's what I'm going to do. So for that project, I bought these Karen Big Cakes. They are squishy and large. Yeah, they're 300 grams each. So I think that these really long color changes will lend themselves really well to making a blanket. And I also think that it'll be nice to not have to change colors. You just crochet till the end of this giant cake, just crochet to the end of it and move on to the next cake. So I haven't decided if I'm going to try and line the colors up. You know, I've got 4 of these cakes, and they might not they all go in the same color order, but they might not necessarily start with yellow, or you know, they may start with the teal or the pink. So I haven't decided if I'm going to keep those going in order, or if I'm just going to pick it up and keep crocheting. I'll make that decision when I come to it, I guess. But so I did purchase some of this. This is very reasonably priced yarn, by the way. And it's squishy, and you can put it in the washer and you can put it in the dryer. So for a blanket, I think that's the way to go, as I discussed in the last video. But so I purchased that, but here's where I really caved. So Stephen West is having a Hyber knit along. He does it every year, and the pattern for that is gorgeous. It's fantastic. It's the same shape as this, and it has lace in it and some baubles. I'll put a picture of it in here so you guys can see it. Okay, so I have to make this, and I probably won't make it in time to work it with the knit along with everybody else, because this crochet blanket is going to be priority over my Hyber knit along shawl. But I definitely wanted to knit it, and of course I caved and purchased a kit off of the Stephen and Penelope website, because they're just so amazing looking. I don't have to put a lot of thought into it. I know it's going to look great because they always put great color combinations together. So that's what I did. I got you know what? Let's make it be a surprise. It's not here yet. I can't show you the yarn yet because it's still in Amsterdam waiting to come to me. So If it's here by the next vlog, I will show off what kit I picked and what all came in. I'll do a little unboxing of it. But I'm super excited about it, and I know it's going to be amazing. The Hybrid Knit Along is a much more relaxed knit along than his annual mystery knit along is, because you can see the whole thing already. It's not as, he doesn't hold your hand as much through the Hybrid Knit Along as he does through the mystery knit along, but his patterns are always really clear, so I'm not really worried about that. But I just had to do it. I had to do it. I kept going back to the website and looking at the available kits, and they kept dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. And finally, I was like, oh man, if I don't get this, I'm going to regret it. I'm going to have major FOMO. So I did it, and I will show you on the next vlog what that looks like. It's going to be great if I have time to knit it. I'm a little worried about having time to knit it, but I'll get to it. I will. So I know I had discussed covering maybe MCALs and just make-alongs in general, and ones that are upcoming and that kind of stuff. That was something I was kind of brainstorming doing for the vlog. I have found that there are just too many. There are way too many of them, and I keep finding ones that have already expired, or that have already started and are way too far in to talk about them now. So I think I'm going to give up on that a little bit. I think the only way I'm going to be able to cover those is just to let you know if I see them and I'm going to be taking part in them, or if I just happen upon them. But searching for them it was way too time consuming, and I have way too much going on to try and weed through which ones are coming up and which ones are halfway through and which ones are already over. So that unfortunately isn't panning out like I wanted it to. The other thing that's not panning out like I wanted it to is talking about designers who just aren't getting a ton of attention. And the problem I'm having with that is every time I found a really awesome pattern I liked on Ravelry, and I went to the designer page, I found out that the pattern was like super old. The designer maybe wasn't replying to comments. A few of them you couldn't even get the pattern for anymore. If there's a way to search in Ravelry by release date, that would be helpful. I haven't found a way to do that other than these are the new releases at the very beginning. So I may be able to, in the future, make a segment of maybe a couple new designers who hit that front page on Ravelry within the past 2 weeks that I just want to spotlight because they're new and they could use some love. I might be able to do it that way. But I can't go back in time, like randomly pick page 300 of shawls or sweaters and look for something I love that only has a few likes on it, because it didn't work. There's too many patterns. Too many people have made things and abandoned their designing efforts. So that's not going to work either. But I'll keep thinking about that because I really wanted to kind of, prop up some fellow designers if I could. And not that I have a problem with super popular designers. I have knit a ton of Joji Logatelli's patterns. I've knit a lot of Stephen West patterns. That's not it at all. I just feel like there are people who don't get seen at all that probably deserve it. And that's what I was trying to showcase, but I just don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off or not. I'll keep working on it though. Last on this little bit of segment right here is tutorials. So I, along the way, have had many friends and family ask to me to teach them how to knit. And sometimes they're halfway across the country and we can't get together to do it. Sometimes they've been local and we're all, we're adults and we have families and we're busy and it just hasn't worked out. So I've always just sent them to other people's YouTube pages. And now that I have a channel, I thought, well, maybe I should throw together, not haphazardly, mind you, but put together some knitting tutorials for people. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to give it a go at least. So my plan is next week to release the first of those tutorials. Now, don't bet that that's going to happen. That's just the plan. The plan is this coming week to make a video showing all the things you would need to purchase to start a knitting tutorial, and some things that are not worth you wasting your money on right now. Because I feel like there's kind of two categories. There's people who want to learn to knit and they show up for the knitting video and they have nothing they need. And then there's people who want to learn to knit and they've gone online and they've done all this research and they buy tons of things that they do not need yet. And they may not need ever. So I think I want to prep people for the actual tutorial video with here's what you need. And I then will produce, I think, a casting on video and a knitting video, the knit stitch, and then a purling video with the purl stitch. And then at the end of the knit stitch, I'm going to maybe provide a little pattern that's just the knit stitch over and over and over in garter that will give you a little washcloth or a pot holder or something, so you can really get some practice in on it. And then we'll move on to the purl, and I'll do the same thing. We'll have a lot of purl going on for something, and then we'll provide a little pattern for free where it combines the two stitches together. I think that would be great. And then I may cover, I think, just some of the other basic stitches you need to pull off a pattern, what I would call advanced beginner. Then when I get knitting done, I may approach crochet, but let's start with knitting. I do want to let you know that I'm a continental knitter. So continental is what the tutorials will be. I started out my fiber arts journey with crochet, so continental came much easier to me because you hold the yarn in your left hand for crocheting, just like you do for continental knitting. I tried English style knitting, which is where you hold the yarn in your right hand, and that did not work out for me well at all. And in fact, I gave up on learning to knit for a few months because I tried starting with that method. So it's nothing against people who English, whatever style works for you is the right style for you. Never let anybody tell you that you knit wrong. So long as you can create the pattern and it comes out looking like it's supposed to or how you intended it to, you're knitting the right way. I knit continental and I use Norwegian purl. And I knit continental with my index finger sticking up in the air, not down on the needle like Arnie and Carlos and some other knitters. I tension the yarn with my index finger. So that is how I'm going to teach it. So if you are an English style knitter and you would like to learn continental knitting, then these tutorials may be great for you. Or if you use a regular purl stitch in either style of knitting, and you would like to learn Norwegian purl, then these videos may be for you also, because I only Norwegian purl. The only time I use a standard style purl in continental is if it's at the very beginning of a row, and that's the only place that I have found it easier to use that stitch. And that's just because of the nature of how the Norwegian purl is worked. But the Norwegian purl keeps the yarn at the back of the work. You never bring it forward. So when you do things like seed stitch, it makes working that pattern much quicker than having to go back and forth and back and forth. And I know some people are very, very quick at it, but keeping the yarn in back is just what worked best for me. I tried standard purl with continental many, many, many times. This is literally the only way I could teach myself how to do it. So when I say the way you do it is the way that's right for you, I absolutely mean that, because I have had people tell me I should not do it that way. And then when I knit continental, my fingers should be down and not up. But you know what? I knit this just fine. doing it the way I do it. And I knit this just fine doing it the way I do it. So I'm just going to keep doing it the way I do it because that's what's right for me. And you will find a way that's right for you, whether it's from my videos or somebody else's. But I wanted to let you know that I was going to put that together. So if you are interested in that and you don't want to lose track of it, please just subscribe and hit that little bell button, and it'll let you know when I put things up, so it'll pop up for you when it's completed. So I'm excited about doing that. I think that's going to go really well. So I think we've gotten to the place where we're going to talk about life and some promo stuff for Mixtape Fiber Arts. If you made it this far in the vlog, I really appreciate you stopping by. If you want to take off because you don't care about it and the knitting talk is over for a bit, then that's absolutely fine with me. I know we're all busy and your time is something you can't get back. So I appreciate you for joining me if you want to take off. If you liked it, please give it a like or a subscribe. If you want to come back for next time, it'll let you know when the next video is up. If you're sticking around, I'll let you know what I've been up to. So it's been kind of crazy busy, but that's just kind of how life goes. The weather here has finally cooled down, which is fantastic. It had been so hot, and now it finally feels like fall. Right around Halloween, it finally cooled off into the 80s during the day, and then abruptly we got into the 70s for a bit with a big cold front that came through. So I made a big pot of chili, which in my mind kind of means fall is here, because we definitely don't make that in the middle of the summer in 115-degree heat. And we took down the Halloween decorations, and we put up this giant turkey, inflatable turkey in the front yard for Thanksgiving. And the holiday season is finally upon us. So if you guys are also getting swept up in it, best of luck to you. Don't let it get stressful. Just take it one thing at a time, and we'll have fun, and we'll get through it. But so we did that. What else did we do? We moved the garden around, which was a ton of work. So I have a lot of tomato plants and pepper plants, the serranos and jalapenos, in felt pots, giant felt pots. And in the summer, those have to be covered over with netting to knock down the sun. The sun here is brutal. I'm in Arizona, and it will just absolutely beat down on those plants and burn the leaves and burn the fruit. It has to be covered. So we had all the plants in this giant, it looks like a camping tent, like a tent you would take camping, except for it's made out of netting at 50% shade. And it's finally gotten cool enough that we needed to take that off. So we took that off, and we pulled all the plants over by the back cinder block wall, because during the day when it's in the mid 70s and low 80s, the cinder block wall will heat up. And in the night when it gets down into the 40s, it will retain some of that heat to keep the plants from getting so cold. Unfortunately, they didn't like being moved very much. This is my first year having these out in Arizona. We used to live in Missouri, and the gardening curve is huge between the two places. And so I'm surprised I got anything, but I ended up with a decent amount of tomatoes. And now the peppers are just, even though I think the plants are at the end of their lifespan, the peppers are going insane. We have so many. So I'm going to can a bunch of hot salsa or hot sauce, one of the two. I'm going to turn them into something so they don't go to waste, because we cannot possibly eat as many serranos and jalapenos as we have right now all at once. It's just not going to happen. So, I'll show you what I end up with when we get to it. I went shopping. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but all the Thanksgiving stuff is going on sale for Thanksgiving meals here in the US at least. And so I got my turkey for like 89 cents a pound or something. It was fantastically cheap. And we always get a ham every year from Edwards Ham. None of these are sponsors, by the way. It's just what we get. Edwards Ham. It's a catalog, and it's a Virginia salted ham. And so I saw yesterday, I got an email that it's shipped and on its way to me. And what else did I buy? I bought 6 bags of cranberries because they were on sale. And I will can those into something called holiday jam. And maybe we'll go over that in the next vlog too, because I know I'm going to have the peppers canned by then also in the life segment. But everybody really enjoyed the cranberry holiday jam last year in my family. Well, everybody but my husband, who doesn't like cranberries. But it turned out really well. So I'm definitely making that again. So I just bought a ton of cranberries while they were on sale because we were eating it even out of holiday season. We just enjoyed it that much. What else? Oh, we went to the eye doctor yesterday. So the next time you see me, I'll have new glasses on. That was very exciting. Thankfully, my eyes didn't change much. So that's good. And I got my hair cut today, but, you probably can't tell that. So, just life stuff. It happens. Okay, well, I just wanted to thank you all for joining me today. I had a good time showing you all the things that I have completed. It has been a ton of knitting in a very short amount of time. I cannot wait till the next vlog. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. That just really helps me out. And it makes it so you guys don't miss anything. And I will catch you on the next one. Happy knitting adventures, guys. Hey, I'm back for just a second. I totally forgot to tell you guys that because you stuck around for the vlog and hung out with me, I wanted to make sure you got a coupon code for the new blanket pattern that I showed earlier. That is the Knit Connection blanket, and it's going to be on Ravelry. On Ravelry, I'm either under Jennifer M. Edwards Designs or Mixtape Fiber Arts. It's also going to be on my website at www.mixtapefiberarts.com. And if you wait a little bit, like a week or so probably, it will be on Lovecrafts. But on Lovecrafts, it probably won't have this coupon code working. So on my website, you won't need the coupon code. You'll get an automatic 15% off. On Ravelry, you'll get 15% off with this code. I'm going to put it right here. So I just want to let you guys know about it, and because I really appreciate you guys spending this time with me. And I hope you have a great couple weeks until we see each other again. Bye.